The world around us is really something special. But we know sometimes it can be a stressful place, especially if those stresses are personal and interpersonal. Wouldn't it be nice to feel more comfortable? Wouldn't it be nice to socialize with greater ease? Isolation is no small matter, and for some of us, it can be a big problem. Do you find it hard to face others? Do you feel the world is unapproachable? Do you feel unapproachable yourself? We can help. The Other Monitor provides you with a new means of self-protection and observation, just what you need to prepare to engage the world. It has been scientifically developed and tested with 3 simple things in mind: you, others, and the world around you. You don't need to be a recluse. With the Other Monitor, you'll find it natural to engage in society without apprehension. You can leave the house feeling comfortable, confident, and safe, observing things in a new light, a light untainted by interpersonal or environmental stress. Enter the marketplace without fear. Go about your daily life uninhibited. And most importantly, start making new friends. Are you considering seclusion? You have other options.
Indians. With Indian.
Them Indians.
Those Indians.
Of Indians.
Indian style.
Indian paint.
Like them dead Indians. Dumb Indians.
The Indian. The Plains Indian.
Killing Indians. That's...
Or the Indians killed.
Gotta be an Indian.
Indian country.
With a wild Indian.
Indians here is too.
Kind of Indian what's
Indians.
The Indians.
The team Indian.
With the Indian territory.
It's Indian country.
That Indian camp.
An Indian.
Raised by Indians.
This woman to the Indians.
Only an Indian.
No Indians in Indians.
Indian. Playing Indian.
Goddamn Indians.
The Indian.
Them Indians are...
The Indian.
Indian boys.
The Indian way.
You know a lot of Indians.
Team Indians.
I did to the Indians.
Indians.
I'm Indians.
Indians.
That Indian.
Indian scouts.
For an Indian.
No Indians.
Them Indians.
The Indian.
Not the Indians.
An Indian.
I'm an Indian.
Indian. The Indians.
Indians. Indians. Indian nations.
For Indians,
For them Indians come...
Pure Indian. Some Indian.
the Indians.
They allow Indians.
Thousands of Indians. An Indian. Out of an Indian camp.
Renegade Indian.
Our Indian enemies. Startling Indian strength. Not for Indian.
Indian nations.
That Indian girl.
Indian land.
We're into Indian territory.
You've been with the Indians.
And those Indians... Indian. The Indians.
Indians.
Only an Indian.
Indians. Goddamn Indians.
Those dirty Indians.
The Indian. The last of the Indian.
Indians.
The Indian.
The Indian.
The Indians. Indians.
That's Indian.
An old Indian.
The Indian.
The two Indians.
That's an Indian.
To me, Indians are Indians.
I know what them Indians do.
It's Indian malarkey.
Indian fighter.
For the Indians' plate.
Oh, I can smell the Indian a mile away.
Taking the Indian. Want an Indian.
The Indians.
What about Indians?
What about Indians?
The Indians.
Over the Indians. A wild Indian.
There's Indian friend.
Indian expert. You're a good Indian.
From the Indians.
Indians. The Indian.
Here, the Indian. The Indian.
Full-blooded Indian.
Indian fighter.
The Indian women. It's bad Indian. Dumb Indians.
Indians.
Got Apache Indians.
Indians. Those Indians.
Damned Indian.
Living Indian.
What about Indians?
A bunch of Indians.
Indians. Goddamn Indian.
Those dirty Indians.
The Indian. The last of the Indian.
Indian.
Embarrassment. Trepidation. It plagues everyone. There she is. How do you break the ice? You want to say something, but you can't. An awkward moment feels only syllables away. But there is hope with the Self-Monitor. Come in for a free consultation to see how you'll benefit from the latest development in audio-recursive conversational therapy. Our counselors will listen to you with non-judgmental ears to determine the root of your troubles and tune the parameters to your personal needs. Imagine an ongoing stream of your conversation piped directly into your ears, so you can remain aware and rest assured that you won't trip over your own words. Research has demonstrated the efficacy of the Self-Monitor in a variety of social domains. No matter where you are, the Self-Monitor will help you calm down and speak up. They'll laugh with you, not at you. So get ready to speak your mind. With the Self-Monitor, you'll be self-assured.
I'm walking and now walking and I'm walking on who's walking past, now walking on, I'm walking down, I'm walking past, I'm walking by, I'm walking by, I'm walking and man walking to, I'm walking past us, I'm walking next to, I'm walking past, I'm walking past, I'm walking by, I'm walking toward black, 7 tree, black, brown, passive, brown, curly, brown, dresses, high, on my high, large, left, small, name, past, red, residential, short, small, light, summer, white, has green, passing, holding, laying, passing, playing, wearing with him. I see it sitting, walking.
We live in confusing times. The buzz of the modern world is a constant distraction. Getting in touch with our feelings becomes harder and harder as society becomes more complex. You might be sad, but it's hard to know. Unless you have the Self-Rememberer, this simple portable tool remembers your moods so you don't have to. Actual emotions were mapped during research and development, and now the results are in. The Self-Rememberer is electrophysiologically gauged to identify moods based on the flexion of distinct patterns of facial muscles. The Self-Rememberer is also your portable digital sensor. It can inform you about your behavior, or counsel you on matters of taste. Feeling tuned out? That's okay. The Self-Rememberer is always tuned in.
Country, everything, nothing, things, something,
every student, everything.
Country, think country, vision, thing, something, vision, think country, vision, country, something, vision, everything, country, vision, divisions, country, vision.
government book, government fanny order, government fanny, government standards, government standards, order.
Books, Laura. Children, grandchildren, father, children, father, children. Rules. Children, grandchildren, father, children, father, children. Rules.
Legislation, freedom,
Legislation, freedom, legislation, freedom, legislation, freedom, legislation, freedom, legislation, freedom, legislation, freedom, legislation, freedom, legislation.
House, video, house, video, house, video, house, video, video, house, video, house, video, house, video, house, video, house, videotape, video, house, video, house, video, house, video, house, video,
House. Questions. Iran agreement.
Iran agreement. Iran agreement. Tehran right agreement. Anytime Iran agreement. In hopes. Government in Iranian agreement. Aggression agreement. Right. Iran
timely. Iran agreement. Iran time agreement. Iran rights questions. Iran aggression
questions.
To Iran's on Iran's time. Iran's time rights. Some time agreement time agreement question. Iran times agreement rights.
Time Iran. Iranian.
Many years.
All of that time agreement trains by Iran agreement.
Iran agreement. Right. Time Iran agreement question. Iranian
time agreement time
question. That anytime Iran questions agreement time for 10
agreement
times questions.
Iran time agreement. Iranian agreement.
Iran's rights agreement. Right. Dying Iran
agreement in
Iranian right
question.
Security Council vote.
Here's put question. Iran rights agreement time
agreement question question Iran
time right agreements. Iranian agreement question rights question
agreement timely
Iran question
agreement
time
rights
Iran
right agreement sometimes agreement
right question
right agreement question Iran agreement right question in Iran time right agreement time
right time questions agreements questions
question you're right
time question
agreement time
agreements
question right question agreement sometimes right agreement
question agreement last year agreement question Iran
agreement anytime
agreement Iran agreement
make agreement time agreement
questions agreement
Iran
agreement
time
agreement questions
Iran questions Iran time
right agreement time question agreement question agreement time
Iran
Iranian agreement
time agreement right agreement
question a critic term question Iran agreement time Iran time questions
foreign nations such as the agreement right
agreement right agreement question agreement
time around times
agreement right time question
Iran's
questions Iran board Iran Iraq
question and
right agreement Iran's agreement time
I am question agreement Iran administrations anytime going administrations
timely going said going time administration said willing
time administration said times willing times
really going administration
time going administration
time said
anytime going administration time
said
times
said
people said
going
administration time said going administration said
administration's
gonna time
said
administration time administration said
time under timely
liability people
time said
wording more people time people's administration
going sometimes going said
people
filling the only people administration time
send people administration going time going
administration's people
say
people and as
ongoing said people
anytime
said time
getting
said time
time, people going.
You could.
Do you believe going time? Said, Cohen said, administration cited.
Outgoing government term. Willing people, ability, time, people.
Lesbian. Questions, liberty.
Food benefits.
Sometimes time, money, food, seafood.
Seafood benefits.
Money, time, money, work, family. Food, working, work.
Food,
works, food, working. Family, working, time, working.
What?
Food, time, money.
Family, money, benefits, money.
Work, time, money, work. Time, money, work. Families, work. Works, work. Working, food, working. Someone working, and working, time, family, time, work, framework, working, framework, money, time, much, time, work,
Food.
working, food, working.
Food.
Workers,
Food.
working, benefits, working, benefits. Work,
Food, money.
families, time, money, food.
People work, money, benefits.
Working, food, work.
Food.
Work, family, food, family. Or working workers, work, you work, works, time, work, buddy, working, family,
time, money, time, me, time,
benefits, work, your
family, percent, family, obligation.
Clinton.
People, American people, government act, AIDS, American government, governments, AIDS, people, AIDS, American people, things, American people, government.
Americans, people.
AIDS, American people, American AIDS, medical men, people, AIDS, Brits, government, AIDS, people, AIDS,
American people, AIDS, people, AIDS, governments, people, things, people, Americans, people, economic, people, AIDS,
AIDS, people, AIDS, American AIDS, American people, AIDS, governments, people, AIDS, American people, AIDS, people, government, people, things,
AIDS,
people on people, government, people, government, people on people, American people,
government, things, people, governments,
people, things, people, all government, America, people, AIDS,
things, people's government, things, Americans, people, American people, things, people, government, things. Americans, AIDS is government. Gotta remind AIDS,
things,
people,
America, Americans, American people,
American things,
Americans,
government, people,
American governments,
things, AIDS,
people,
AIDS,
people, Samaritan, people, AIDS, people, governmental,
people, things, people, AIDS, people,
things, people, AIDS,
things, governance, people, government things, people, governments,
people,
governments, people, house,
People, Microsoft people, Microsoft's people, women's people, women, Microsoft, people, women, White House.
Programs. Police programs. Police continuation involves that we cutting sources expand hiring assistance on programs program police programs and I can find a very
Harold
for dollars amount of money programs
program police program
charge politicians it's going to
politicians
president security team work progress working progress president table president work progress table progress working table president security team secretary president working president progress table progress work table security and the security for a couple of framework I'm confident will framework the table going to work or framework the table progress security secretary the president were security the president and security the table the president April the president is working the president
progress it's like we're giving
table
the progress
we're in progress to work the president work the presidential security framework national security to progress
border
the president network and the president ever secured The president on the table. President. Agreement. For those agreement. To bring them to sanctions. Agreement. President. Sanctions. Agreement. Sanctions. Agreement. Partner. Agreement. Sanctions. Agreement.
Politicians. American politicians. Right? Politicians. Right. Schools.
America, right? The American, right? School of America, the American, right? The American politicians, right? American schools, right? And record break, or right? The American school of America, the American, right? School, right? Schools, right? Americans, America, right? America.
Of America. Actually disappoints a disaster. Rank politicians. American politicians. No politicians. Politicians.
The politicians.
Region situation, security. Region situation, security situation. Region security. Regional situation, regional security situation. Regional regions, region security situation at the situation. Security situations. Security region. Our security region situation.
House director.
Nation. Nomination. National. Nations. Nation.
States.
Working back is able to House.
States. Nation. Nomination. States. Nation. Nomination. States. Nation. States.
House.
States. Nomination. States. Director. House.
States House. Director. Explanation. Director. House. Director. National. House.
States. Explanation. States. Nations. Nation. House. States.
National.
Service. Investigation.
Service. Time. Investigation. Service. Good service. Time. Investigations. Service. Good service.
Investigation. Service. Investigation. Lifetime. Service. Services net.
With recurring investigation. Service.
Good service. Time. Service. Investigation. Service. Time. Services. Investigation. Service. Investigations. Service. Investigation. Service. Investigations. Service. Time. Investigation. Good. Time. Investigation. Anytime. Good. Anytime. Time. Investigation. Type. Investigation. Time. Investigation. Good.
Time. Service. Time. Understand times of Congress. Service. Time. Service. Time. Service. Time. Investigation. Service.
I'm service. Good service.
I'm interested.
Good taste.
School work. Think. Work. Work. Think. School. Think records. Think records. Think school. Working. Schools. Think school. Work. Say work. Think working. Think work.
Conversation. Time. Conversation. Time. Conversation. Time. Conversation. Conversations. Time. Conversation. Time. Conversation. Time. Conversation.
Starting conversation.
Time. Conversation. Times is conversation. Time.
Health issues. Health issues. Time issues. Help.
Times.
Health.
Health. Times. Health. Health issues. Time. Health. Health.
Time. Issues. Ukraine.
Fans. Ukraine was a Russian beginning to acquit authority, even if the United States is a matter of Ukraine and patriots
is but to his family.
Ukrainian.
Ukrainian
government, Ukrainian government, governance, government, Ukrainian government, Ukrainian government of Ukraine,
Ukraine, Ukraine, Ukraine, Ukraine, Ukraine, Ukraine, Ukraine, Ukraine, Ukrainian, Ukraine, 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 Ukrainian governments, Ukraine, government, Ukraine, 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 Ukrainian government, Ukrainian government, governments, Ukraine, 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 Ukrainian government, Ukraine, 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 Ukrainian government, government, Ukraine, government of Ukraine, Ukraine.
Ukraine is what?
Government of Ukraine, Ukraine, Ukrainian.
Ukrainian.
Ukraine, 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 Ukraine.
Ukraine, Ukrainian.
Ukraine, Ukraine, government. Ukrainian, Ukrainian, Ukraine. Government, Ukraine, Ukrainian, Ukraine, Ukrainian, government, government, government.
Ukrainian government, Ukrainian government.
Ukraine, 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 Ukraine.
Ukraine, Ukrainian, Ukraine.
Ukraine, Ukraine. Ukraine,
Ukraine.
Talk to them about Ukrainian.
Ukraine, Ukrainian, Ukraine, Ukraine.
The Ukrainian government, Ukrainian, Ukrainian.
Ukraine, Ukraine, Ukrainian.
Ukraine, Ukraine, Ukraine.
Ukraine,
Ukrainian, Ukrainian, Ukrainian government, Ukraine, 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 Ukrainian, Ukraine, Ukraine.
Ukrainian, Ukraine, Ukraine.
Ukrainian government, Ukraine, Ukraine.
Ukraine, Ukraine, Ukraine.
Ukraine, Ukraine.
Ukraine, Ukraine.
Ukrainian, Ukrainian, Ukraine, Ukraine, Ukraine.
Ukraine, Ukraine.
Ukrainian.
Ukraine.
So Ukraine, Ukraine government,
Ukrainian, Ukraine, Ukrainian government, government, Ukrainian government, Ukraine, Ukraine, Ukrainian governments.
Infinite patience.
This is a big other. It's been with European monitors. Ukraine, Ukraine,
Ukraine,
Ukraine, Ukraine.
Ukraine governments.
Ukraine, 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 Ukrainian, Ukraine government, Ukraine government.
Ukrainian government of Ukraine.
Ukraine, Ukraine.
Ukraine, Ukraine.
Ukrainian.
Ukraine, Ukraine, Ukraine.
Ukraine, Ukrainian.
Ukrainian.
Ukrainian, Ukraine. Ukrainian, Ukrainian, Ukrainian.
Ukraine, Ukraine.
Government, Ukraine, Ukraine, governments, Ukraine, Ukrainian.
Ukraine, 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 Ukrainian, Ukrainian, Ukraine, 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 Ukraine,
Ukraine,
Ukraine.
Iran, people, Iranian people, Iran, people, people, Iran, people, people, weapons, people, 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 weapons, 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 people, weapons, people, 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 Iran, weapons, Iran, people, 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 Iran, people, 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 weapons, 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 people.